What if the goal of business isn't to compete, but to escape competition entirely?
Welcome back to the Better Version Book Club, the podcast where we break down the world's most influential books.
And pressure test them against the world we're actually living in.
I'm Melody.
And I'm Alec, here to represent the voice in your head that hears the word monopoly and immediately reaches for the pitchfork.
Today, we're tackling a modern Silicon Valley classic, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel.
Thiel being co-founder of PayPal, first outside investor in Facebook, billionaire contrarian, and the man who writes the kind of sentences that start arguments at dinner.
And this book is his manifesto, not a step-by-step business plan, more like a philosophy of how real breakthroughs happen.
Or, depending on your mood, it's either a blueprint for innovation or an instruction manual for becoming the villain in a superhero movie.
Perfect, because the core idea of the book is deliberately provocative. The most valuable companies don't compete, they become so unique they have no real competitors.
Which brings us to the word that triggers everyone's internal alarm system.
Yep, monopoly.
Okay, monopoly. Sounds anti-capitalist, anti-consumer, and generally illegalish. Is Thiel genuinely saying we should all become ruthless monopolists?
That's the gut reaction, but Thiel reframes it. He's not praising the classic monopoly that blocks competitors and extracts value by force.
Like a cartoon railroad baron.
Exactly. He's talking about a monopoly created through value creation, a business so good at something that alternatives feel irrelevant.
So, like Google in the early 2000s, there were loads of search engines, then suddenly there weren't.
Right. Thiel's point is competition is for losers, not because competition is morally bad, but because intense competition tends to crush profits and shrink long-term thinking.
Translation, if you're stuck in a knife fight over price, you can't fund anything ambitious. You're just trying to survive.
Exactly. Think of a crowded street of identical cafes. Same beans, same muffins, same furniture, same vibe.
Same weird dog-friendly sign.
They're basically fighting over tiny differences. In those markets, customers win on price and convenience, but the business often loses on margins, energy, and long-term innovation.
So Thiel's monopoly is really category ownership,
That's the clean translation. Don't be the best in an existing category, build a category where you're the default.
which is way less evil-sounding and way more useful.
Thiel says durable, creative monopolies usually have 4 characteristics.
Hit us, and no one's allowed to say just be the next Google.
Deal. Here are the 4. First, proprietary technology. Something meaningfully better. Often he says 10x better, not 10% better.
The 10x rule is brutal. It basically says if customers can switch to you with mild effort, you're not differentiated enough.
Right. In software, 10x can mean speed, cost, accuracy, or capability. In the real world, 10x can also mean reliability, time saved, or an experience people can't get elsewhere.
Example for normal human.
Imagine a physio clinic. 10 clinics offer similar services. One clinic builds a system where you get diagnosed faster, receive a personalized plan, have app-based tracking, weekly check-ins, and the rehab outcomes are measurably better.
So the tech doesn't have to be a rocket engine. It can be a process that gets a 10x outcome.
Exactly. Second, network effects. A product becomes more valuable as more people use it.
Social networks are the obvious example. You join because everyone's already there.
Yep, but network effects also show up in marketplaces, referral loops, communities, even local businesses.
Like a gym where the community is the product. People stay because their friends go, not because the treadmills are 10x.
Perfect example. Third, economies of scale. The business gets cheaper to serve each additional customer as it grows.
Which is why big platforms can win price wars. They're not mean, they're structurally advantaged.
Exactly. But scale doesn't only mean massive global scale. It can mean a model that becomes smoother, faster, more efficient with volume.
Like a meal prep business. Once you have enough customers, bulk ingredients and predictable workflows drop the cost dramatically.
Right. Fourth, branding. Not a nice logo. Brand as a durable position in the customer's mind.
The moment people say just get an Uber instead of call a taxi, that's not design. That's language level dominance.
Exactly. Strong brands turn choice into habit.
So those are the four monopoly traits: proprietary tech, network effects, scale, and brand.
And here's the punchline. Most businesses have maybe one of these, and often none.
Which explains why most businesses feel like an endless treadmill: constant marketing, constant discounting, constant stress.
Now, the title, 0 to 1. Thiel says there are two kinds of progress: 1 to N, copying something that works and scaling it; 0 to 1, creating something fundamentally new.
1 to n is more, 0 to 1 is different.
Exactly. And most of the world runs on 1 to N, and that's fine. But Thiel argues the biggest value is created by 0 to 1 leaps.
But most people listening aren't building nuclear fusion startups. They're running a service business, or climbing a career ladder, or just trying to not hate Mondays.
Which is why this part matters. 0 to 1 doesn't have to mean inventing a new technology. It can mean creating a new offer, new category, or new experience in a world of sameness.
So an accountant doesn't need to invent Math 2.0.
Exactly. They can create a 0 to 1 business model inside accounting: fixed fee packages, proactive financial coaching, automated reporting, and a niche like fitness studios or medical specialists.
You're basically building a monopoly inside a niche. You're not competing with every accountant, you're the accountant for this specific tribe.
That's it. You escape competition by narrowing your battlefield and becoming the obvious choice.
Let's talk about the 10x thing, because Thiel says if you're only slightly better, customers won't switch.
It's one of the most practical ideas in the book. If your improvement is incremental, you end up competing on price, marketing, and distribution.
And then you become yet another option in the comparison table.
Exactly. So Thiel's question becomes, where can you create a leap?
Okay, Melody, give me a modern 2026 relevance example that isn't just a better app.
Sure. Let's go climate tech, healthcare, and everyday life. Climate and energy. A 0 to 1 leap could be something like commercially viable fusion or breakthrough battery chemistry that shifts cost curves dramatically, not just slightly better solar. Healthcare and biology, AI-assisted drug discovery that materially shortens timelines, not a new wellness app, but genuinely new capability. Everyday service business, a trade business that guarantees arrival times, uses transparent upfront pricing, offers financing instantly, and provides real-time tracking, turning a painful service experience into something frictionless.
You're describing a 10x trust upgrade, not a tech upgrade.
Exactly. 10x can be in trust, speed, certainty, outcomes, experience, or convenience.
Which is comforting because most people can't invent fusion, but you can remove friction.
Then Thiel introduces his concept of secrets.
Which sounds like, I'm a genius and the masses are wrong.
The wording is provocative, but a secret in Thiel's framework is basically an important truth about the world that very few people believe.
Give me examples that don't make me roll my eyes.
PayPal's early contrarian bet: people would trust the internet with money if it was secure enough. Airbnb's contrarian bet: people would stay in strangers' homes if the experience felt safe and social proof existed.
But here's my pushback: survivor bias. For every Airbnb, there are 1,000 secrets that were just wrong.
Absolutely. Thiel's framework is powerful, but it doesn't protect you from delusion.
Juicero, Quibi, Theranos, a museum of expensive confidence.
So here's a practical pressure test. How do you tell a secret from a fantasy?
Please give me something better than believe harder.
3 filters. First, reality signal. Can you get anyone to pay, commit, or change behavior, even in a small way, without hype? Second, distribution clarity. Can you explain exactly how you'll reach customers? If it's will go viral, it's not a plan. Third, constraint awareness. Have you mapped the real obstacles: regulation, switching costs, trust, habit? If you ignore constraints, you're not contrarian, you're careless.
So, a real secret can survive contact with reality. A fantasy dies the moment someone asks, cool, how do you sell it?
Exactly. This connects to another big idea: the power law.
Yes, the law that explains why one startup becomes a unicorn and the other 9,999 become good learning experience.
In venture capital, a tiny number of winners generate most of the returns. One Facebook can return an entire fund.
Which means VCs aren't hunting pretty good businesses, they're hunting monsters.
Right, and this is where founders get confused. They think the job is be a little better than competitors, but VCs need outcomes that are wildly asymmetric.
So the power law basically says that almost everything is a failure. It feels less like a strategy and more like admitting you're just buying a lottery ticket and hoping for the best. How do you act on that without getting discouraged?
That's a call for radical focus, not despair. Thiel's point is that since the upside of a true 0 to 1 success is so massive, it's better to relentlessly search for that one great bet than to spread your resources thinly across a dozen pretty good ideas. Think about early Apple. They didn't try to make dozens of different products. They focused obsessively on making one thing, the personal computer, a 10x better experience. They poured all their energy into that one conviction, which allowed them to have a power law level outcome.
Okay, so it's a focusing mechanism. In your own career, it means you shouldn't try to be good at 10 different things. You should find the one unique skill or secret that you have and invest your time and energy into becoming the absolute best at it. That's your personal power law bet. So, if you're building a business to be stable, profitable, and calm, you might be building a great business, just not a venture business.
Exactly. 0 to 1 is largely a book about companies that can become huge, not necessarily the best framework for every lifestyle business.
That's an important distinction, because if a normal person reads this and thinks, if I'm not building a monopoly, I'm failing, they'll end up depressed in a WeWork.
The better takeaway is seek differentiation and leverage, even if your goal is simply freedom and stability. Thiel also talks about something founders hate: sales.
Yes, the forbidden word in startup.
Thiel argues that even the best product doesn't win if nobody knows it exists. Distribution is often the difference between brilliant idea and dead company.
Which is painfully true. I've seen people build amazing things and then whisper about it like it's a secret society.
He basically says you need a clear distribution plan, and he breaks sales into models from viral and self-serve to SMB sales to enterprise sales.
Translation for normal humans, you either build something people share naturally or you build a system that sells it.
Exactly. Here's a relatable example. Two personal trainers, same skill level. One relies on walk-ins and Instagram posts. The other builds referral partnerships, a conversion script, a retention system, and a clear niche offer.
One has talent, the other has a machine.
And machines scale. Another great section in the book is Thiel's idea of being the last mover, the company that makes the final, durable leap in a category.
Like, it's better to be the last great search engine than the first mediocre one.
Exactly, and he offers a set of questions you can use to evaluate whether a business has monopoly potential. Think of these as Thiel's stress test. 1. Engineering. Can you build breakthrough tech or breakthrough outcomes? 2. Timing. Is now the right time or are you early or late? 3. Monopoly. Can you start with a small market and dominate it? 4. People. Do you have the right team? 5. Distribution. Do you have a real plan to reach customers? 6. Durability. Will this still be defensible in 10 to 20 years? 7. Secret. Have you found a contrarian truth?
That's actually solid, not fluffy. It forces you to face reality.
And it's useful even if you're not building a unicorn. You can apply it to a career move, a service business, or a creative project. Now, the big Better Version Book Club question. Does this still hold up in 2026?
Because the world is different now. Big tech is entrenched, regulation is aggressive, and the moment you show traction, you enter what some people call the kill zone.
Meaning incumbents can copy you, acquire you, or suffocate you.
Like Snapchat features getting absorbed by Instagram, or startup getting partnered to death.
This is where Thiel's ideas still apply, but with sharper edges. First, the secrets aren't all taken, they're just harder to see because the obvious markets are crowded. Second, regulation changes the strategy. If you become dominant, you'll get scrutiny, so you need to win by building a category where regulators and incumbents can't easily frame you as just another monopoly.
So don't walk into the spotlight screaming, "I am the monopoly now."
Exactly. And for many businesses, the best move is dominate a niche rather than trying to own the entire world.
Be the monopoly for a specific customer in a specific problem in a specific region.
Yes, and that's where it becomes relatable. Most people don't need global dominance, they need escape velocity from commoditization. As we wrap up, there's a version of 0 to 1 that isn't just for founders.
Good, because not everyone wants to pitch VCs in a hoodie.
Thiel's idea can apply to your career and life. Build your personal monopoly, a combination of skills, experience, and positioning that makes you hard to substitute.
So instead of competing with everyone in your job title, you become the obvious choice for a specific kind of work.
Exactly. For example, not marketing person, but marketing for premium wellness brands. Not project manager, but project manager who can rescue failing builds under regulation pressure. Not trainer, but trainer for busy parents who want strength without injury.
It's basically stop trying to be slightly better at the same game and change the game you're playing.
That's the heart of 0 to 1 thinking. Create new value instead of fighting over existing value.
Okay, so what's the core takeaway?
Don't aim to win competition. Aim to become meaningfully different. The practical path is find a small market, solve one problem 10x better, build distribution, and earn defensibility through tech, trust, brand, or network.
And here's the uncomfortable question Thiel leaves us with, and it's a great one.
What valuable company is nobody building?
Or the personal version. What valuable thing are you capable of building that you're currently not building because you're too busy trying to keep up?
That's the better version challenge for this episode. Pick one area of your work or life where you're stuck competing and ask, how would I make this 10x in outcomes, trust, speed, or experience?
And if your answer is, "I'd just lower the price," congratulations, you've invented competition.
That's all the time we have for this edition of the Better Version Book Club.
Next time, we'll take another big idea and stress test it against real life. The messy, modern 2026 version.
Until then, build something new, even if it's small.
Because going from 0 to 1 is hard, but going from 1 to yet another copy is a slow way to disappear.
See you next episode.